Good morning, everybody. So today we start a new unit, that is limit and continuity. So it is the third unit. So limit and continuity. So in the first semester we have studied about limit and continuity for a function of only one variable. Say that is y is equal to f of x. So here only one variable, that is x. So y is equal to f of x means only one variable. So y depends on only one variable, that is x. So it is known as function of only one variable. So in that we have studied about the limit and continuity of a function of one variable. Okay, so now in this case or in this semester you are going to learn limit and continuity for a function of two variables. So for example, suppose if I want to find out area of a circle, right? So what is the formula for area of a circle? So area of a circle is given by the formula pi r square. Okay? So area of a circle is pi r square. So now here r is the only one variable. If you know r, or if you know the r means it is radius. If you know the radius, then you can find the area of the circle. So only one variable. So therefore area of circle is a function of only one variable. So if a is area of circle is denoted by a is equal to pi r square. So this can be written as, now here only one variable, pi is a constant, that is 22 by 7. Only r is a variable. So there is only one variable, that is r. So this can be written as f of r. So r is only one variable. So therefore area is a function of only one variable. Area of a circle is a function of only one variable. So therefore area of a circle is a function of one variable. Correct? So similarly, if suppose that, take the example of area of a triangle. Okay, so this is the triangle. Now this is the height and this is the base. Correct? This is the base. This is the height and this is the base. So now area of a triangle is given by, triangle is equal to, what is the area of a triangle? 1 by 2 into base into height. So this is area of a triangle. So 1 by 2 into base into height. Now if you know the base and if you know the height, then you can calculate the area of a triangle. So therefore area of a triangle is a function of two variables, that is base and height. So it depends on two variables, that is base and height. If you know both the values, if you know both base and height, then only you can calculate area of a triangle. If you know only one variable, then you cannot calculate the area of triangle. So to calculate the area of a triangle, b and h, the base and h, we need two variables, that is base and height. Okay, so therefore area of a triangle is a function of two variables. Okay. Similarly, if you consider the area of volume of a cube. Okay, so volume of a cube. So what is volume of a not a volume of a cube, volume of a cuboid, right? So volume of a cuboid. So cuboid means what? All length, breadth and height are different. Okay, so this is a cuboid. Okay, so here length is different, then base is different, then height is also different. All the three dimensions are all different. So volume of a cuboid is equal to what? Volume of a cuboid is ABC. If A is the base, if B is the height and C is the length, so it is given by ABC, or in other words XYZ. If you take this base as x centimeter and height as y centimeter and this width as z centimeter, then volume of a cuboid is equal to what? X into y into z. Now in this case, volume of a cuboid, it depends on three variables x, y, z. So when you know all the three values, when you have all the three values of x, y, z, then only you can calculate volume of a cuboid. So therefore volume of a cuboid is a function of three variables. So here how many variables are there? X, y, z. So volume of a cuboid depends on all x, y, z. So x, y, z. So therefore volume of a cuboid is a function of three variables. So volume of a cuboid is a function of three variables. Volume of a cuboid is a function of three variables. Okay, so this is about function of more than one variable. Okay, so now we define limit and continuity, so which is our main concept. So here we write limit and continuity for function of two or more variables. Okay, limit and continuity for function of two or more variables. Now in this we have a definition. So we define this. Limit and continuity. Okay, continuity. So here first we define limit of function of two variables. Limit of function of two variables. Okay, so here in this case, here we use the same definition. Here this is defined as you define for a function of only one variable. Okay, so how do you define this? A real valued function. Definition: a real valued function. A real valued function f of xy is said to tends to a limit L as both xy tends to a and b for all epsilon greater than 0, then there exists a number delta greater than 0 such that such that absolute value of f of xy minus absolute value of f of xy minus L is less than epsilon. Is less than, this is L is less than epsilon with 0 less than x minus a less than delta. Okay, and 0 less than y minus b less than delta. Okay, or in other words we write that is this can be written as limit as xy tends to ab of f of xy is equal to L. So this is how we define a limit of function of two variables. Limit of function of two variables. So in case of single variable, okay. So how we define in case of function of one variable. So that is y is equal to f of x. So in that case we define limit as x tends to a absolute that is f of x is equal to L, right? So this we define in case of a function of only one variable, so which you have studied in your first semester, right? So in this is it is defined. So that is limit for function of two variable. It is also defined in the same way as we define for this single variable. Okay, only here we have x means here only x independent variable. X is the only variable, and here we have two variables, function of two variables x and y, and here x is the only tending to limit a. Here both x and y are tending to limits a and b. Okay, so this is about limit of function of two variables. Limit of function of two variables. So similarly limit of function of three variables. It is also defined in the same way as we define for two variables. That is a limit as x, y, z tends to limit a, b, c f of x, y, z is equal to L. Okay. So similarly we define limit of function of three variables as limit x, y, z tends to a, b, c such that f of x, y, z is equal to L. Okay. So this is about limit of a function. So now we define continuity of function of two variables. So now we define continuity of function of two variables. So what do you mean by continuity? So continuity means what? Suppose that if this is a curve, okay, and this is y axis and this one is x axis, right, and this is the origin and this is a curve, correct? So now here Now here there are some points on this x-axis. Here is 0, and there this is say 1, and here it is 2, and here it is 3, is 4, this point is 5, this is 6, this is 7, and similarly here we write 0, this is 1, 2, 3, then 4. Okay, so this is x-axis and this is y-axis, and this is a curve. This is a curve. Say this curve is nothing but what? Let it be y is equal to f of x. Now in this case, now this is okay. This point is nothing but what? This point is f of 1. Corresponding to this x equal to 1, we have a point on y, so that is y is equal to f of 1. Similarly here this is corresponding to this point 2, we have this point is what? F of 2, like that, and this one is what? 6, so this is f of 6. Okay, now corresponding to this x equal to 6, so we draw one perpendicular line, and that line intersect here, so this point is f of 6. This point is what? F of 6. Now see here, as we move from x equal to 1 to 6, okay, as we move from x equal to 1 to 6, or in other words we can say that as we change the values of x from 1 to 6, okay, so now here if you put x equal to 1, then we have point here. If you put x equal to say 1.001, then we have point here. Then 1.002, we have point here. And similarly, when x equal to 2, we have a point here. 3, we have a point here. And 4, we have a point here. Like that, when we move from this x equal to 1 to 6, so we have a points all along this curve. Okay, we have a points. You take any value between 1 to 6, however the value, however small it may be, okay, however small it may be, say from 1 to 6, if you take any value, either real number, so for example 0.005 or 1.001, 1.002, 1.003, like that, if you take any value between 1 to 6, we have a corresponding point on this curve. So therefore we say that there is no gap. Okay, there is no gap on this curve. Also it means that the curve is continuous. There is no gap. The curve is continuous. Okay, so suppose that if I don't have any point in this curve. Now let us example, say at this point, okay, sorry. Okay, now this is, say consider this is a one curve. Okay, so now this is one curve. Okay, now here at this point there is no point, so means there is a gap. At this point there is a gap. That means gap means what? Say this gap is corresponding to the point what? Here the point may be what? I think it is 4.4, right? So it is 4, then it may be nearer to 4.5, or we can take this as a 4.4. Now at x equal to 4.4, the point does not exist. On this curve. So therefore the function is discontinuous at x equal to 4.4. The function is discontinuous at x equal to 4.4 because for this x equal to 4.4 we don't have any point on this curve, means it is a gap. There is a gap, there is no point. So therefore the function is discontinuous, or we say that the function is not continuous at x equal to 4.4. Or we assume that if we move from x equal to 1 to 4.4, so that is as x tends to 1.4, sorry 4.4, limit of f of x does not exist, because there is a gap. So therefore the function is not continuous. Okay, so this is about the continuity of a function. Next we define the function. We define the continuity of a function. So now we define continuity of function of two variables. Continuity of function of two variables. So it is defined as a real valued function f of xy is said to be continuous at a point xy equal to ab for all epsilon greater than 0. There exists a number delta greater than 0 such that absolute value of f of xy minus ab is less than epsilon. Okay, is less than epsilon. So with absolute value of x minus a is less than delta, comma, absolute value of y minus b is also less than delta. Okay, is then delta. So, or in other words, or it can be defined as that is in other words a real valued function f of xy is said to be continuous at xy equal to ab if limit as xy tends to ab is equal to f of ab. So then we say that a function is continuous at the points a and b. Okay, so now this is about the definition of limit of a function. Now we solve one problem on this. Examples. First one, prove that limit as xy tends to 0, 0 x square y square by x raised to 4 plus y raised to 4 does not exist. does not exist. Okay, so this is a problem. So we have to show that limit as xy tends to 0, 0, x square y square by x raised to 4 plus y raised to 4 does not exist. That means what? The function is not continuous at the points 0 and 0. Okay, 0 and 0. To prove this, what we do? So let f of xy is equal to x square y square by x raised to 4 plus y raised to 4. Okay, y raised to 4. So now apply the limit. Now limit as xy tends to 0, 0, f of xy is equal to, here also we apply the limit as xy tends to 0, 0. This is x square y square by x raised to 4 plus y raised to 4. Okay. So now in this what we do? Put y is equal to mx. So here put y is equal to mx. Wherever y is there, just replace y by mx. Okay. So then we get limit as xy tends to 0, 0, f of xy is equal to, so here x square, y square means mx, so it is m square x square divided by x raised to 4 plus y raised to 4 means it is m raised to 4 x raised to 4. Okay, so here actually it should be what? That is limit as xy tends to 0, 0. So here we replace x square into m square x square divided by x raised to 4, m raised to 4 into x raised to 4. Actually I have to write the limit here. So instead of writing here, I am writing here. Okay. So now this can be written as limit as xy tends to 0, 0. Now in this case, x square into x square, this is x raised to 4 m square. Now in both the case, I take x raised to 4 common. So 1 plus m raised to 4. So x raised to 4, x raised to 4 get cancelled. So which gives m square divided by 1 plus m raised to 4. Okay, m square divided by 1 plus m raised to 4. Now in this case, now see here, in this case, this value for different values of m. So for different m is not given here. M is a value, m is a constant. Okay, so it means for different values of m, it gives a different limit. It gives different limit for different m. The value is different. So that means for different m, we are getting different limit of the given function. So that means limit of a function is always unique. The limit of a function, it exists, is always unique. So here what we are getting, for m is not constant, m takes any value. So when m takes any value, when we get limit is different for different m. So that is limit is different for different m. Okay, for different m. So therefore limit is not unique. So when the limit is not unique, so we say that, which implies limit does not exist. So when the limit is not unique and we are getting limit the value as more than one value, then it implies that limit does not exist. So this is how we solve the problem. So today we finish up with this and we continue in the next class. Thank you.